Asante sana. So, comrades, I want to be very, very brief, and I want us to have an interactive session because you are all leaders. And you are leaders who are elected at the university. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is very difficult to be elected at the university. And it is very easy, very, very easy to be elected on this side of the world, the national political arena. Why? Because as a student leader, you had to convince teachers, doctors, engineers, actuaries, accountants, different professionals to vote for you, which means that you couldn't lie to them, right? For you to be elected. For you to have been elected as a student leader in campus was way, way difficult. At whichever level, I've seen students here, the current student leaders, I've seen presidents here, different years, different regimes for JKUSO. I've seen secretaries general, I've seen deputy presidents, I've seen academic affairs, and I've seen leaders who are in the executive and also the Congress, because our university system also has a parliament. And if I compare the leadership at the university and leadership as a member of parliament, I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is way easier to be elected at the national level than being elected at the university. When I served as a student leader at the University of Nairobi, I served as the president of the Students' Organization of Nairobi University for 4 terms. And I think I was the longest serving student leader on earth. And I also served as the president of KUSO, the Kenya University's Students' Organization, for 4 terms. I interacted with so many of you, so many student leaders across the country, and Comrades' power was Comrades' power. Comrades' power. Comrades' power. And we used to brag and say that there are only 3 rules to the comradeship constitution. That rule number 1, that a comrade is always right. And rule number 2, that a comrade is never wrong. And rule number 3, that if rule number 2 fails to apply, you refer to rule number 1. We served, you served. You did your part. Nobody is perfect. Nobody was perfect. But the fact that you are elected as a student leader means that you are indeed a leader. And leadership is spiritual. Leadership is unique. Leadership can only come from the Almighty God. And that's why without wisdom as a leader, you cannot lead. And as a student leader, we did what we could do. So many of you have introduced themselves here, are still leaders where they are working. And that tells you very well that leadership will follow you wherever you go. You can't hide. It will follow you wherever you go. And if you are not a leader in any organization, you will still be a leader in your family. You will still need to provide leadership. What is this leadership? Leadership is very heavy. It is a responsibility bestowed on you by the Almighty God. The yoke of responsibility resting on your shoulder is so heavy. And the reason why God made you a leader, or has made you a leader, is so that you be a bridge between Him and His people. And that is why the moment you see a person ceases from being a leader, if a person was elected and is not re-elected, then you start asking yourself, what happened to this leader? Because the same energy that the Almighty God used to bless this person, to appoint this person as a leader, is the same energy that God will use to punish you if you don't deliver. And therefore, leadership is a curse, and it is a blessing also at the same time. A curse if you work, if you lead, if you're a political leader, not a political dealer. A blessing if you are a visionary leader, not a missionary leader. A leader with a vision to transform the lives of your constituents from wherever you are. At the national level, at the corporate level. A vision to change the lives. A vision to ensure that your constituents move from one level of life to the other, not a mission to destroy them. And therefore, leadership becomes challenging, because this is the only position where your electorates, when they elect you, they elevate you to the highest point of ignorance. And I always say that every leader is a very ignorant individual. An ignorant individual. Why am I saying so? Because you are a leader, you are an engineer, you are an advocate, but you are expected to lead all doctors. You are a leader of all doctors. You are a leader of all nurses. You are a leader of all teachers. You are a leader of all thieves. A leader of all religious persons. You are a leader of buildings. A leader of roads. A leader of rivers. And you are elevated to a point where all doctors want you to serve their interest, yet you don't know anything about medicine. Into that ignorance. Highest level of ignorance. You are a teacher, yet all engineers want you as a leader. Your profession is a teacher. All engineers want you to take care of their interests, yet you know nothing about engineering. All religious persons want you to take care of their interests, yet you don't know your way to heaven. You don't know how to get to heaven. All thieves want you to take care of their interests, although most leaders in Kenya know how to steal. So leadership elevates you to the highest level of ignorance from wherever you are. Even in the corporate world, where you are seated, you are dealing with people who are thinking very differently. So still, you are elevated to the highest level of ignorance. So therefore, what do you do as a leader from wherever you are? Leadership bus is the only bus that you drive from the back. This is the only vehicle that you should drive from the back. You sit at the back. Let all professionals guide you. Let all the engineers guide you. Let all the accountants guide you. Let all the thieves guide you. And by the way, in leadership, even the thieves want to eat. So therefore, what do you do as a leader? The intention is not to deprive the thieves of what to eat. The intention is to bake a bigger cake that even the thieves can eat. When the cake is big enough and the thieves are eating and you are eating, will you complain? You will not complain. But the kind of leaders that we may have in our country, some are good, some are not utilizing the opportunities well. And therefore, comrades, leadership is very challenging, needs spiritual intervention, and therefore every leader in this room, you need God to guide you, to guide your steps. Because you might be making steps that are unauthorized, steps that will blur your vision, steps that can make you a very greedy person. As I come back to what engineer advised me to do, when I left the University of Nairobi in 2017, I was still a student leader and a president of SONU. Then I went to vie in Embakasi East constituency. I was lucky, by the grace of God, I was elected as a member of parliament while still a student leader. And I think I'm the first student leader again to have resigned as the president of SONU after winning the seat, the Embakasi East seat. But again, what made me win this seat? It is what I was doing as a student leader. So therefore, what you did as a student leader will follow you. We've seen so many student leaders who served, even during as far as Moi's era, student leaders who were stooges of the government. They've been trying to vie up to date and they don't get the seats. Why? Because you are known. The comrades know you. At least in every village, there is a student in this country. In every extended family in this country, there is a student. So therefore, you are not just a student leader for only the students, even their parents. And you know what our parents go through in this country. And you know what you've gone through to get your degree certificate. The odd jobs that your parents did, including selling all the property that they had, selling all the animals that they had, taking loans, yourself doing very odd jobs, toiling, moiling, just for you to get the degree certificate. Then as a student leader, you either decided to disappoint the students or you decided to elevate their spirits by fighting for their interests. The easiest way to transition from the student leadership into the national political arena is by working as the current student leaders who are here. You have to work for your constituents. You have to work for the students. When help delays, it might be a small thing, but that help to a student is so serious because without the help, even a student cannot travel from the village to the university. No accommodation, no tuition. You can't, no food, you can't do anything. The easiest way is to fight for that interest. Ensure that help is released on time. For those who are there, we did it together. Some of us did it, some of us didn't do it. But again, there's always another chance. Some of you might be called failures in leadership, but failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. At least you had learned something from it and you can do better. And therefore, it does not mean that if you didn't do well as a student leader, you cannot do well in the political world, in the national political world. So the easiest way was for you to deliver and to deliver to your constituents who are the students. Right now, majority of you who are here, you will still want promotions, that is positions of leadership. Some of you will want to join us in 2027. Some will want to join us in 2032. And majority, by the way, may want to join us from 2027. And I want to tell you that we are here and we are here for you. We want to ensure that at least you get these seats. You have to appeal to the interests of the people the same way you are appealing to the interests of the students. Because if you are elected as a student leader, then just outside here, it's way easier for you to just appeal to the issues of concern, to the interests of the common mwananchi, because that is what they want to hear. That is what you have to do for an easier transition. How many of you here in 2027 want to vie in various positions in the coming elections? I can see Mike Akopale, can see Engineer ako hapa, can see the Secretary General, current Secretary General J. Kuso, can see another gentleman there. How many of you want to be promoted where you're working? How many of you want to be leaders? And if you don't want, by the way, it won't ever happen because you are cursing yourself. Because a tongue is so powerful. So at least you do realize that you want a position of leadership because you are a leader. What I can ask you as a leader is to deliver, work for your people. This opportunity that you've been given, make sure you deliver it. It is not very easy to speak to leaders who have already been elected, because even if you think of a lie, it's not coming. So you have to be very, very factual, right? So ladies and gentlemen, I really want to thank Engineer for whatever you've done here together with your team, the J. Kuso leaders, alumni. We want to copy the same thing you're doing, because for the longest time possible, we've not organized one as SONU leaders. We are only existing in a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, we have 3 WhatsApp groups, each containing around 1,000 student leaders, both current and former student leaders. But I want us to come together, because I know that this nation can only be changed by people who are educated. And I always advise Kenyans, I talk about it and I do tell Kenyans that do not elect a person who is not educated, because that person is not going to do anything. That person is going to serve his or her own selfish interests. But again, we also have those who are educated, who also have PhD and are doctors and are serving at the highest position possible. But I also challenge you that there's a difference between going to school or school going through you and you going through school. You might have just passed from one gate to the other. So as a constituent, you must be very careful on the type of people that you are electing. I want to tell you, my brother, that be very tactful. Tact means, there's a pope who used to say that every morning when I wake up, I must greet the devil. Are you getting me? So in the eyes of the students, Bwana DVC, block your ears. We used to say that the admin was the devil. But you have to work with the administration, not for the administration. You can consult. You can work with them, not for them. Because if you work for them and you don't work for the students will see you as a person who is not delivering. So something like the Wi-Fi, Bwana DVC, weka hata kwa hiyo hostel moja tu. Huyu akue apate cheo next time. So continue being tactful. Ukitoka hapa, the first thing kuchukua namba ya DVC, kuongea naye. Tact also means that God has an opportunity to destroy the devil, and no human being shall ever sin. But he leaves the devil tactfully so that you can sin and go back to God. Sawa sawa. And lastly, tact means that when you are driving a car and there's another car ahead of you, if you want to overtake this car, do you have a right to overtake the car? Comrades, do you have a right to overtake the car? If you are driving a car and there's another car in front of you or ahead of you, you have a right to overtake the car, right? If there's an oncoming car and you are overtaking, what will happen? You will crash and you will die. But you are right. So you are right, but you are dead, right. Do not be dead, right. Just be right. So just be tactful, and then things will be okay. Peter pale kwanza uongee naye. Sawa sawa. So there's a lady, I think the last person.